All right. Hello everyone. I see so many familiar names here again today. Hello, Alain, Salad, Mathiok, Gonzalez, Pinkwater, obviously. Great. So we're gonna have more people come in, obviously. But because I unfortunately, oh, Joy Water, hello. Unfortunately, I double booked myself once again. So I'm just going to give a very brief introduction and point out some pretty interesting updates that we have been sharing in the recent days. And then I'm going to mute myself. So once again, greetings to our dear Salad community and a warm welcome to our Discord AMA session. So for those of you who don't know, I'm Felix. I'm the co-founder of Salad. My co-founder, Kept, is still on vacation, lucky him. But it is a privilege to be able to connect with you guys again today for this hopefully engaging and definitely informative session. Now, before we delve into the updates, I'd like to remind everyone that today's discussion will primarily focus on the recent Arcaden update. So you see it's shared on the screen right now. And if you go to the chat in this AMA session, you'll also see that our team has posted a link to the Medium article. So today's discussion will primarily focus on that article. And I encourage you very, very strongly to read that article in order to stay informed about our latest developments. And again, for today's session, please direct your questions towards this recent update so that we can keep to the time that we have planned for. Now, before we continue, I'd like to share some other key updates with you all. And for those of you who don't know, we have been posting a lot of updates in the announcements channel on our Discord. And let me just point out a few key updates. The first is our Salad token liquidity enhancement, where we've announced that we've moved our Salad tokens to BitGet, which is a pretty interesting and very exciting exchange, in order to help to enhance liquidity and ensure a more robust trading experience for the Salad USDT pair. Reason for that is in the announcement. Details are also in the announcement channel, so go check that out. The next thing I wanted to point out is an upcoming Telegram AMA that we are holding together with xt.com, another great exchange. That's happening tomorrow. So please do join us for an exciting AMA session with a very significant Salad prize pool. Don't miss out on this exclusive promo together with XT. Again, details are in the announcement channel. Thirdly, we also have announced the daily rewards for NFT holders. We are rewarding our Salad Passport and Salad Diamond NFT holders with daily rewards on arcaden.com. This brings more value to your NFT that you have dedicated resources to in the past to get. So please go to the announcements channel and check out the announcement regarding daily rewards for these NFT holders. Fourth, we have also introduced an Arcaden chest channel. So in case you don't know, the current version of Arcaden, upgraded version of Arcaden, actually allows you to open chests to get free stuff. So if you want to stay updated with the latest chest openings on Arcaden, just go to the Arcaden chest channel and you'll be able to track new prizes and updates there. And lastly, we have also announced a Salad Festive Forecast Fiesta. This is a campaign that we are launching on Snapshot, and announcements have been made in our channel as well as on our Twitter. So get ready for our festive event with a huge Salad reward pool. It's going to be really exciting, and rewards will be there for this holiday season's celebration. So go check out the announcement channel for the Festive Forecast Fiesta as well. Now, a special note on our Discord channel consolidation. We have today merged several channels into a single Clubhouse channel in order to streamline our communications with you guys, with our community. And this will be the primary channel. The Clubhouse channel will be the primary channel where my team and I will concentrate our efforts and share information and answer your queries. And if you have questions beyond today's Arcaden update on this AMA, please feel free to post them in the Clubhouse channel. So today, we have Gabe, our growth lead, who will take the lead in our AMA. And although I'll be on mute, I'm here with you all listening in and learning. And I encourage everyone to engage actively with Gabe, asking questions and sharing thoughts related to the recent Arcaden update. So without further ado, let's get started with this AMA and delve into the exciting world of Arcaden with Gabe.
Thanks, Felix, for the very formal introduction. Hey guys, so it's Gabriel here. Probably I've spoken to some of you before, but I miss Cap as much as you guys do because now, unfortunately, I have to step into his place. But I'm very excited to be here today to share some really exciting updates with you guys, and also to explain like what we've been working on for the last 3 to 4 months in terms of the product, right? So I'm sure probably some of you have seen the Medium post, some of you have not. It's been a huge, huge piece of content with lots of updates, and this session is recorded. So, if anyone who can't hear for some reason, you guys will be able to hear it out in the recording. So, as I was saying, basically we've been working on a lot in terms of the product. So for myself, I lead growth at Salad, and recently that has also come to encompass the product side of things, right? So without further ado, I think we can kind of get started. And yeah, I think the very first thing is, what is the world of Arcaden, right? So long story short, we've had two very successful products in the past. They were built for very different reasons. So primarily, most of you would know our very famous gem campaign, which kicked off on Galaxy in December last year, as well as like Arcaden, which was basically an arcade that was built during the GameFi boom. So we realized that both of these things, even though they were successful relatively, but there was something missing from each other, right? The first thing I think in terms of Arcaden was that because of the state of GameFi and how things have been evolving over time, it didn't really make any sense to rely on other GameFi partners at that time giving away other GameFi assets. So we knew that we needed to build something of our own, and to have our own collection, right? And at the same time, the version 1 of Gems, it was a great campaign, and I think everybody had loads of fun. But there wasn't really an actual product behind it, and there wasn't any strong utility for the NFTs, right? So we decided to merge both of these products, and basically we came up with the World of Arcaden. So that is what we're going through today. Um, I think for the World of Arcaden, there are several big updates, right? The first thing is that we have officially shut all of our campaigns on Galaxy for the gems. And the main reason, unfortunately, is two reasons, right? The first reason is because we've been trying to get them to convert, or actually to introduce an 1155 contract for the longest time, but unfortunately, it's not something that they were able or willing to do. The difference between 1155 and 721s is that if you minted 100 purple gems, right, like you would pay gas 100 times if it was on 721, which is what's on Galaxy. On 1155, you would pay one transaction. So for those of you who have minted thousands of NFTs, the gas can add up. Right. So that was the first reason. I think the second was also because they had a lot of features that we wanted to have a lot of features that wasn't built into Galaxy. Right. They are more of a, I would say, social fi kind of platform where they complete social tasks or on-chain tasks, but we wanted to have more gamified features. So, that being said, we thought it was a good time, with all the recent issues of the platform, to kind of move off of it and to build our own smart contract. So that's the first thing that we've been working on. We are also working on implementing a relayer into our smart contract, right? So what that does is, even regardless of the chain of the NFT contract, you'll just be able to pay for gas and for fees through the Arcaden credits. Right. And this basically allows us to be cross-chain in a lot of ways. If we decide to introduce new collections on different chains in the future, all you have to do is to have Arcaden credits in order to pay for gas, regardless of chain. So this is one of the heavier tech upgrades that we've been working on. And our team is really close on like actually pushing this out. Right. So all the V1 gem campaigns on Galaxy have come to an end 2 days ago. So I mentioned that earlier. In terms of the gem leaderboard, I know like we've been pretty inactive in terms of like the rewards and just updates in general for this. We realized after the first two seasons of the gem leaderboard that just giving out more NFTs with every season wasn't going to be exciting enough or incentivize you guys enough to continue doing it, right? So that was one of the reasons why we put it on hold. But we have since then taken the total of 6 snapshots. All of them have been updated onto the leaderboard page. So if you guys log into Arcaden, just click on the leaderboard, you'll see that there's up to snapshot 6 now. We will give more information about the distribution of rewards, but the first couple of things is you'll be able to mint an Arcaden VIP pass, and you'll also be able to mint a Solid Diamond for free, right? So that's like the first couple of things that we're giving to you guys, and additional rewards will be credited to your Arcaden account as well, right? So make sure that if you have a wallet with all of the gems and you're ranked top 200 for all 6 of these snapshots, to have that wallet connected to an Arcaden account. More announcements will be going out on this in the next couple of weeks. So the transition of V1 to V2 gems, right? Some of you who have been on Arcaden, you would notice that we've had this new thing called collectibles. So if you go to, earn the shards and then you pull the gacha machines and you get the collectibles, these aren't actually NFTs. What this does is it basically acts as a whitelist, right? So it's an off-chain asset, and it allows you to collect a bunch of these first, and eventually be able to mint all of them in bulk. So it's really to complement like the new contract, the 1155 contract that we're planning to launch in the future, right? So even though the minting is not live yet, but all of the collectibles that you have, you'll be able to convert to NFTs once that feature is launched. We're planning to launch like a bunch of new collectibles out as well. So previously we had about like 50 different NFTs, gem NFTs in total. Since then, we've actually done up like an additional, like I think 60 to 70 more designs that we haven't released yet. We'll be leaking some of these over the next couple of days as well, but just some alpha, like if you check your profile page, you'll be able to get a sneak preview of some of them that's already been listed there. So, upgrading the V1 gems to V2, right, which would be a brand new smart contract. The process would be starting off with Burn Island, which is the main feature that our team is working on launching. Burn Island will basically allow you to burn your V1 gems, the ones you minted on Galaxy, and you'll be able to get collectibles in exchange, right? So once you have the collectibles, when the minting is launched, you'll be able to convert all of these to V2 gems on the new contract. It is exactly a 1:1 ratio. So for those of you who've been asking about that, yeah, it is confirmed. So for every gem that you own on V1, you will have the same exact gem on V2, right? So Burn Island, we're planning to push this out before the end of the year. So this will be the next major feature. So all of your V1 gems, you'll be able to convert them into collectibles. And, just a little bit of alpha on this particular feature. We also plan to expand on this feature, this Burn Island feature, to include what we call a recycling program, right? So for all of you guys who have been super active on Galaxy and minting a bunch of oats and stuff, and all the airdrops have been over, and you have no idea what to do with those, we're actually planning to allow you to burn them on our platform in exchange for essentially converting them into gems, right? So that's also one of the initiatives that our product team is working on. Minting of V2 gems, so that would be the next major feature, which we plan to push out early the next year. And of course, all of the forging that we love so much, the Blacksmith's Forge as well as the Magical Forge, these, honestly, the features have already been built. And the main thing that we're just waiting for is essentially the minting contract. Yeah, and then in terms of the costs, we've done some major adjustments. So in the past, credits were about 20 cents each for you to play a game. It would be 5 credits per game, so it would have cost you $1. Now it is basically 1:1 to salad, so it costs 5 salad to play one game, right? We've also adjusted like the prizes, like in terms of how many shards or previously known as tickets that you would need in order to claim these prizes now. So it's a lot more affordable for people to get started. We even, adjusted the amount of shards they can get per game, right? So one of the things that we are planning to implement as well is to allow users to use more credits while playing games, right? So some of you have been complaining you have like you can't play like 10,000 games to use up all of your credits, right? And these are things that we have been thinking about and we'll be planning to implement in the next phases of the product updates. So obviously, tickets have been replaced with shards. This is really just to keep to the theme. Shards per game have been adjusted. We've introduced Arcaden treasure chests as well. So these are like the new gacha machines. We have several more that we plan to launch probably next week. So stay in touch and follow our socials for the updates on those. Right. We also allow you to open 11 of these at once, so it's a lot easier to spend your shards now. In terms of the shard merchant, this basically allows you to purchase the collectible of your choice. So, you'll be able to purchase specific assets if you're missing them. So let's say, if you're missing, I don't know, one silver gem in order to upgrade, you don't have to pull like 20 gacha boxes. You can just buy it off of the shard merchant, right? Legacy user bonuses. So if you had topped up on Arcaden prior to this major update, you would have gotten a bunch of bonuses in terms of the credits as well as the tickets. We will be issuing the shard bonuses as well. This hasn't been done yet, but these are just to basically support our most loyal users since the beginning of the product. So daily rewards was the most recent update. This just came out a couple of days ago. And essentially, if you have a Salad Passport or you minted the Moxie, you'll be able to, claim free shards on a daily basis, right? If you own the Club Salad Genesis Pass, there is a multiplier in effect. User profile page, we've upgraded this as well. So now you're able to see all of the collectibles you have owned. We're planning to do another UI revamp in the near future. And the profile page is going to be public. We have plans to make the profile page public. So you'll be able to essentially share a link to your profile as you would on OpenSea or any other marketplace, right? And people will be able to see your collection. So some sneak peeks that we mentioned would basically be quests, right? So quests would essentially allow you to, and basically like challenge some of these bosses, right? Which we call mythics. And you'll be able to earn like forging materials, artifacts, which will be required to upgrade the gem NFTs that you have, right? And of course, the biggest update that we have would be Arcaden League. So this would be as part of the V2 rollout. Essentially, the Arcaden League would be an upgraded version of the gem leaderboard, right? And only the V2 gems would be applicable in terms of like the points, right? So the main difference is that in terms of the Arcaden League, it would be seasonal, and we would be distributing token rewards at the end of every season, right? So you would be able to go straight into your Arcaden account and claim your rewards at the end of the season. And the prize pool is guaranteed by Arcaden, as well as a percentage of all the credit deposits will be added to the prize pool. So for anyone who tops up on Arcaden, whether you're using the credits for games or for fees, a part of that is going into the prize pool for the league, which would be distributed to all of the people who are ranked accordingly, right? And of course, the last thing I believe would be the Celestial Companions. So these are like some really interesting things that we have thought up. We have a few pets that might be popping up soon, and if you've probably seen this on Arcaden already, but this would be a major feature that we would be launching after the Arcaden League, right? So if any of you guys are interested to look into the public roadmap in terms of like what are the features we're working on, we update the public roadmap pretty often. I try to do it at least once or twice a week. So if you go to the link that's at the end of this article, you'll actually be able to see like a list of all the features that are being worked on, those that are already complete and are in testing phase, and which have been already launched, right? So I think that is pretty much it for the article in itself, which essentially covers V2, right? So I think I will briefly share about what our plans are for Arcaden as a project as a whole, before looking at some of the questions that have been popping up in the Discord chat, right? So I would say, like, in terms of Arcaden, V1, it was a very different product, right? And it was a separate product from Gems. And essentially, what we're trying to do with V2 is to bring everything together and to make it very cohesive. We understand that it's a little bit confusing, especially if you're a new user at the moment. But we are like aware of all of these issues, and we are very focused on just fixing the product and making it better, right? Um, at the end of V2, what users would be able to expect is essentially be able to resume all of the NFT activities that used to happen on Galaxy, but at a much more affordable and reliable state, right? And also, you'll essentially have the first earning mechanic that would be introduced to Arcaden, allowing users to earn on a regular basis, right? In Arcaden V3, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to share this because I don't think Felix knew that I was going to bring this up. But V3 is where really exciting things are going to come about. Essentially, that is when Arcaden as a project, I feel, would be taken to another level. All of the users would be able to earn both shards as well as tokens. There will be a mechanic that there will be several mechanics that will be put in place, and you would be able to consistently earn, right? So instead of like just a seasonal leaderboard kind of thing where you have to wait every couple of months or so, it would be something that similar to Axie in a sense, where you would, as you progress, you would earn, and it would be a lot more consistent and engaging. So that's like something that we would probably be making more announcements about at the start of next year. But all I can say at this point is that V2 is really just the first step, and anyone who's basically already invested into V1, as you guys convert to V2, we're basically going to be giving out like bonuses to every single burn, right? Some of the NFTs in V1 will also, well, you will not have any other way to get them. No hints on what they are, but aside from burning them from V1, you won't be able to get them in V2 anymore. So there's also like several incentives for for the early holders, right? Which is what's most important for us. And yeah, like I think just to pull it all together, we are planning on sharing more news in terms of the airdrop soon. The main reason why we haven't been talking much about it is essentially our focus is really on the product, right? And there's really no point in talking about a token if there's no strong utility for it. That's my personal take. And our team has really decided to just focus on building the best product that we can for our actual users. So we're very close to getting to the next stage. And as a result, like the airdrop, we'll probably have some news for you guys on that soon, right? So yeah, I think that's pretty much it in terms of what I've shared. I'm just going to look through the chat while you guys have been spamming, but let me just check it out. So Gonzalez was like, since V2 has already been launched, when will all the earned Gem V2 prizes will be available to us? I think you would probably be referring to the prizes that were given out during some of the AMAs that were held and all that. We'll be able to process them as collectibles soon. So I'll make a note. Some of my team members are in this chat. We'll make a note and we'll distribute them to the winners probably before the end of next week. So Cap hasn't been around for a while. Yeah, he's been on leave, sorting out some of his personal matters, but he's doing pretty well. I'll send him you guys his regards. How would you burn hundreds of NFTs? Considering Burn Island, are you paying gas fees? Yes, so gas will be involved for sure. But we will be compensating users in a different form to make it worth your while, right? So like I mentioned, for every NFT that's burned, there will be a reward that's distributed through the platform at Arcaden. In terms of like the chain for the final for the new contract, I don't think I'm allowed to mention it just yet, but it's definitely a major chain that's known for gaming to you guys, and we have something really very exciting to announce probably early next year as well. It's a partnership that we've been working on for the last couple of months. So more info on that once details have been confirmed. And Arcaden credits, what's your suggestion for large position credit holders, which is about 100K for short term, and why? Yeah, great question, Joy Wato. So I would say like it's tough because I literally just I saw your suggestion in the Discord, and I literally just brought it up like a couple of days before. We feel like once the NFT activities are introduced to the platform, then that's not going to be a problem because you do need credits for burning, minting, forging, etc. Right? So I would say like that would be the primary use of the credits. But of course, like we're also planning to implement what you did mention in terms of allowing people to essentially bet more, right? Like for lack of a better example, it's like going to a slot machine and deciding between 5 cents and $5 per game, right? So we're planning to implement a similar feature for the game. So minimally it would be 5 credits, but if you wanted to put 500 credits to get 100 times the rewards, it can also be possible. In terms of like the email verification, I've shared with my team about this today. So we did send out like quite a large number of emails, but unfortunately, for some reason, a lot of them were not opened, right? So we sent it through Active Campaign. The first batch was about 21,000 emails. Only 30% of emails were opened. So I would say a lot of people who claim to not have received the emails probably missed out on it. But we realized that that is an issue. So what our team has done in terms of the vetting is we have added several layers of checks in terms of sifting out fake users, right? So essentially, one of the Medium posts outlines this, but I'll just quickly share on it. In terms of whether the user has topped up before, whether they have a credit balance, whether they have played any games, whether they own any shards, or do they even own any gem NFTs, right? So if you fulfill at least one of these conditions and you have a wallet attached to your account, then you're safe, right? So we won't be requiring an email verification on that just yet. And we'll be putting out an announcement about this soon as well. So it makes things a lot simpler. So Key to Arcaden, that is the only exception in terms of the campaign. I wouldn't count it as part of the gem campaign because it wasn't meant to be. So the Key to Arcaden is essentially probably one of the only few campaigns that we would have left on Galaxy, right? So we'll still have, of course, the Salad Passport, the Arcaden Pass, and we'll have like, we'll have the Key to Arcaden as well, which the plan for the Key to Arcaden is you'll be able to complete tasks on Galaxy still to mint the Key to Arcaden, and then take the key, come to Arcaden itself, and open a chest, right, in order to get the rest of the gems. But we didn't want like the entire campaign to be on their platform, but just a couple so that people can still engage there. Definitely makes sense for us. In terms of backers have been updated for Polygon Studios. I mean, Polygon Studios has been an investor since the beginning, actually. So, um, yeah, just wanted to put that out there, but possibly neither confirm nor deny. Estimate date of releasing claiming rewards page, the rewards from AMA. Um, so like in terms of the gems, if you've won like any gem related rewards, we'll process it by the end of next week. That's pretty straightforward. In terms of like the token rewards, I would say like the main blocker on that is essentially the tech, mainly because like everything that we're building needs to be integrated, right? So it is not so straightforward as to like just releasing like one smart contract and then letting things go out. But it's like when we allow people to claim the tokens, we need to make sure that the first of all the claiming contract needs to be sorted, and then after the tokens are claimed, we need to make sure that users are able to use it in the way that we want them to, right? So for the staking and all the other additional things that we may or may not come up with, these are things that we have to be very careful about, because obviously everything is on a smart contract, right? It's all on chain. So even obviously an NFT minting contract is pretty straightforward, right? Like anyone can basically go to a platform and use a template and launch an NFT minting contract. But then to integrate a relayer so that the end user doesn't have to pay gas in a native token, being able to integrate it cross chain to a different contract, right? And then also when users burn V1 gems, how do we make sure that they're actually credited collectibles, right? Because these are really big changes, I would say. If we have 5 million NFTs and they get burnt and half of them go missing, it's going to be an absolute nightmare for our team to try and find the NFTs that were lost and credit to the actual accounts and stuff like that. So I would say like even though things are not as quick as we like, but we feel that it's the right thing to do for people who are supporting the project, right? And at the end of the day, I think our stance is pretty clear that of course we appreciate our community members, the ones who have supported us and have been with us since the beginning. But we feel like the best way to give value back to these people is to build a product that is really good, it works, and people actually want to use it, right? Because without a working product, there's no way that token price can sustain. And even if we release all the tokens, it would just be dumped to zero within like an hour, right? So, we feel that if we have a really strong product and people actually pick it up, then releasing an airdrop is going to be like the least of our problems at that point. So we really appreciate like the community members who have stayed and really supported us and been so understanding. If you guys have any questions, I know I've been MIA for a while from Discord, but I am still checking in on a day-to-day. Please tag me if you have any questions. Shall we expect a staking mechanism? I think for this, like for sure, staking is something that we definitely are looking into. In terms of the actual mechanics, right? Whether it is staking NFTs, staking tokens, what the rewards are going to be, the terms of the yield. Like we don't have any specifics at this point in time, but we have been looking into staking contracts for both the Solid token as well as our NFTs. So staking is definitely something that we're planning to launch. Again, I think token staking is another issue that we're very cautious about. Just mainly because just mainly because in terms of like the gas fees for ETH token, right? Every time you stake, unstake, like these are like transaction fees. We're also taking these things into account, whether we should bridge to another chain. We're considering all the possibilities before making a decision that we can take back. So yeah, but for sure, you can definitely expect staking. Bolo says hasn't received the Salad Diamond from the Dream Moxie contest. It's yet to be distributed. Yeah, it hasn't been distributed yet. The main reason for that is because the solid diamond isn't tradable, so we can't actually send it to you, right? So we realized, like, obviously that's a blocker, and we also decided to give away 1,200 of these to the people who ranked on the Arcaden leaderboard. So the team's like basically putting into place a plan for a transition so that we can make the diamonds tradable and do go through with all of these giveaways, right? So that's also in the near future. You guys can expect it before the end of the year. Yeah. So one of the suggestions or one of the ideas that we have, it's not confirmed yet, is essentially that we could mint it out and then make it transferable, and then the ones that weren't actually minted, we would put it onto Arcaden's platform, right? And then people can basically get it using credit. So that's something that one of the options that we're exploring. We're also been working on the traits as well, so don't worry, the project is not dead. We just have a lot of design work that we've been pushing out. Like, as you guys know, we put a lot of effort into our designs. But for Moxie, we've been working on a lot of different traits. There's a total of about 350 of them that we planned out. We're probably like a quarter way there, but we'll get there. We'll get there, fam. All right. So for Bolo, you hope to see 163,000 sold pretty fast for sure. Um, I bought a bag of them myself with my own money, and I'm also the one who's like pushing the project. So I'm definitely gonna do everything that I can to make it work. I do want to put out a disclaimer that even though the diamond hasn't been sold out, but the team has put in essentially like zero resource into marketing it, right? So all of the diamonds that were sold were only to our existing community members online, as well as the people who we've met in person at Sell It Tuesdays. So we haven't even engaged any KOLs. We haven't run any promos whatsoever. And of course, like, extremely bullish, but not financial advice, right? Um, in terms of V2 launch period to maximize future profit, could you give community members some clue on what we should do now? So I would say, like honestly, in terms of like the V2, right? Like, in terms of profit, that's something that we're very conscious about, especially for myself. So I would say, just to share a little bit more, right? Like, just to say, from a day-to-day perspective, aside from growth and developing the product in itself to make sure all the technicals and the engineering is done, I think the bulk of my time is spent researching the different models that are out in the market, right? So obviously, there've been several successful projects, some not so successful, and there are a lot of different mechanics, right? So in terms of GameFi projects, for example, obviously you have Axie. You also have something like Pixels, which is pretty new by Ronin. You also have something like DeFi Kingdom, which is a little bit more into like the investment side of things. But there are several models that work in Web3, or if continue to survive in Web3. At least you also have like Gods Unchained, which went the whole trading card route. So we've been looking into all of these models, and aside from that, a lot of it has to do with math, right? So if some of you play video games, it comes to a point where the game isn't fun anymore, right? So a lot of the interaction between the user and the game comes down to math as well as human psychology. And that's important to build a project and a product that is sustainable. So there's a lot of reading that's involved. And in terms of the type of mechanic that we're building, right? So I would say, like, in terms of the supply of NFTs, of course, there will be certain NFTs that have limited supply, but we don't plan to, launch like a bunch of collections with only 5,000 supply, right? Because it would drive the price up, and a lot of you wouldn't be able to participate. If it was a game only meant for BAYC holders, I would think most people here wouldn't be playing that game, right? So the whole reason when we launched the gem campaign was that it needed to be unlimited supply so that anyone and everyone could participate. but it also needed to have a very engaging and sustainable mechanic so that there's not too much supply in the market, right? So coming up with just coming up with like new NFTs every week and then getting you guys to burn more and more isn't gonna be sustainable, right? Like to be honest, even though there's 4 million gems, all we have to do now is like, okay, I'll introduce like a dragon gem tomorrow, and you need 100 rainbow gems in order to forge one dragon gem, right? And probably burn like 80% of the total supply in order for you guys just joy water to get there, essentially. So I think like that isn't the way to do it, even though it's the simplest way to do it. It's really about creating more engagement mechanics. So that's what we're looking into. So like I would say, like in terms of making more, the mantra that we have is really, the more, it needs to be sustainable. So the rewards need to come from the money that we earn, right? So obviously that comes from top ups. So our goal is to create a product so more people would top up, right? And the more you top up, essentially, rule of thumb, not financial advice, the more you're going to earn as a result, because every single collectible or NFT you earn is going to give you an edge in the system that we're building, right? So as long as you're participating early, I would say that you're at a benefit just purely because like the credit is tied to the price of salad, right? Like if you start today and the price of salad is less than 1 cent compared to if you started 5 years down the road, it could be a very different story altogether. So I think just starting early and participating in every new thing that comes up would essentially be the best way to have some sort of edge for future profit, not financial advice. Alina mentioned about the gaming leaderboard, so I'm not sure if that's uh, been addressed. Yeah, but I shared with my team today. It may not have been. It probably was posted, I think, just once, but just to address that, right? So the leaderboard for each of the individual games, in terms of the scores, right? The user has already been flagged on our system and they've been removed. So whatever you're seeing is just historical data, but the accounts have been banned. So our devs are working on a fix for it, so you won't be able to see that on the front end anymore. But just to let you guys know, like we take exploitation very seriously. Any inactive users, any users who create fake accounts to try and exploit our system, anyone who hacks the games, we will just ban them, and there's absolutely no chance of an appeal, right? So we take this very seriously, and it has been addressed. When are we opening crates? Uh, Raka is talking about. Raka? Are you referring to like the Salad Adventures campaign? Um, so if you are, that's one of the reasons why we're looking into the cross chain stuff, because obviously, if you wanted to open a crate on Polygon and you wanted to burn something from BNB, it's two different chains. We're making sure that we're ready for that. So the answer is basically in the very near future. um, in terms of like the game scores, Alina, I just wanted to reassure you that, essentially at this point, we are taking it seriously, right? So anyone who exploits it, like I mentioned earlier, we are addressing the issues and trying to increase our security, right? If you still see the users on the leaderboard, just feel free to let our team know. But the assurance that we can give you is that before the minting feature is live, we will do one manual sweep of all the existing users and their score. Even if you still see them scoring, getting high scores on a daily basis and stuff, we will make sure like every single one of these people will be banned before minting is released, right? So they can have as many shards and collectibles as they want, but at the end of the day, they were not going to be able to get the shards, and they won't be able to. They won't be able to get the NFTs, and they won't be able to get like the token rewards, right? So it's very similar to how we address the airdrop issue, right? When people tried to exploit it and bought it during the duration, we tried to fix it a couple of times, and then we realized that they would just find new exploits. So we decided to just let them do their thing. And after the airdrop campaign has been concluded, right, then we went ahead and started banning all of these people. So like a very big significant portion of users who participated have been removed, right, as a result for the Arcaden bans. So all of these things are definitely being looked into. Like the fair play thing is something that we're very concerned about for sure. We don't want people who exploit us to get the rewards. And like I said, as long as you're a real user and you've been, supporting us, we'll definitely make it worth your while. Easy withdrawal and deposit is important. Yeah, for sure. So I think one of the things that we're looking into, aside from adding chains, is also like looking into credit card payments, so that people who are actually not a part of crypto are able to actually join Arcaden. Um, so I think that's definitely something we're looking into. Ganza says, when there are no rewards, it's hard to force yourself to make more purchases, for sure. We definitely agree with that. Why are there two supply crates that are different? I believe the other one was like the initial graphic that we used. So the graphic should be updated when you refresh the metadata. Otherwise, that's probably not from us. I would say just check the smart contract first. But yeah, guys, I think doesn't seem to have any more questions. So I think that's pretty much it for today's session. Great turnout. Really appreciate you guys hopping on. And yeah, if anyone has any questions after this session that pops up, feel free to tag me or let our moderators know in the chat. And yeah, I'm looking forward to bringing you guys more updates for Arcaden and also Salad as a whole. So yeah, thanks very much, guys. Have a good Friday tomorrow and a good weekend. And, you know, LFG. Awesome. Thanks so much for your support, guys. Really appreciate it. Have a good one.